Bishop Eddie Long, who is a megachurch leader here in the Atlanta area, Lithonia, Georgia, to be more definite. Multi-millionaire. He drives a Bentley, a couple of Bentleys, a couple of Rolls Royces, great big old mansion, and, doing Jesus' work. Has this great big 30,000 member megachurch out here in the suburbs. He, and now four people individually have come forward. 4 male people have come forward individually and accused him of illicit sexual activity with Reverend Eddie, or Bishop, whatever the hell he is, Eddie Long. Another one of these clownish preachers. I mean, the list of clownish evangelical, same thing, preachers is endless. It goes all the way back to Amy Semple McPherson, right? I mean, before her, it just goes on and on and on. So this huge fool with the terrible looking wig hat on his head, he wears a wig that most people would be ashamed to put on in the privacy of a dark closet. But Bishop Eddie wears it to church every Sunday. He stands up there. He's got these suits that has a logo of the church on his suit. You can go to his website, just like you go to MikeMalloy.com and buy stuff. You can go to Eddie Long's website and buy clothes with the church logo on it. Amen. Well, Bishop Eddie Long, how did he become a bishop? Well, that's a long story. I'll tell you more when we come back. So we have another one, don't we? Bishop Eddie Long here in Metro Atlanta. This one accused of having sexual relations with 4 young men who were fascinated by the ministry. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about the Reverend, or the Bishop Eddie Long. And I would be remiss in my ongoing assault against religious hypocrisy, if that's not redundant. I would be remiss in not bringing up pastor, or bishop, I should say. Yeah, he's a bishop. Bishop Eddie Long, who has one of the best scams going. He, just a complete scam artist. He has 25 or 30,000 members of his new birth church here in Metro Atlanta. This is a guy that's being investigated because, all the money that people contribute that go to the various ministries go to Eddie's Bentleys and Rolls Royces and the boys that he strikes up relationships with and then seduces. And this is a man who is an ardent homophobe, as is so often the case, isn't it? I mean, my God, not too long ago, old Bishop Eddie led a march here in Atlanta demanding that marriage be sanctified as being only between a man and a woman. And in the meantime, he was performing his own commitment ceremonies with a bunch of young men, not together, but individually. One of the young men who have filed a lawsuit against him, according to the Associated Press, the lawsuit is Eddie coerced him into a sexual relationship, told a TV interviewer, the young man did, that he loved the pastor and considered him a father figure. But he also called him a predator and a monster. His name is Jamal Paris, and he was interviewed by Channel 5 in Atlanta, WAGA. Jamal Paris said, I loved him. I'm always going to have love for the things he taught us, but how he left us hurt. But how he left us hurt worse than anything I ever felt in my life. The man turned his back on us when he had no more need for us. That's not a father, that's a predator. Jamal Paris described some of what happened. Here's what he said to Channel 5 here in Atlanta. Quote, I cannot get the sound of his voice out of my head, and I cannot forget the smell of his cologne, and I cannot forget the way he made me cry many nights when I drove in his cars on the way home. I'm not able to take enough showers to wipe the smell of him off my body, end quote. Woo! when a reporter for Channel 5 here in Atlanta first reached Jamal Paris outside a convenience store in Colorado, the young man at first was reluctant to speak, and then he told WAGA that Long exploited the young man's dreams for a father figure in exchange for sexual favors. And during services at his, quote, church, end quote, last Sunday, Bishop Eddie turned to biblical terms to portray himself as an underdog. Yea, and behold, this is warfare. They are attacking me. Oh, my God. I feel like David against Goliath, but I got 5 rocks, and I haven't thrown one yet. That's what he said last Sunday. In the interview with Channel 5, Jamal Paris said Bishop Eddie, quote, manipulated us from childhood under the guise of providing a fatherly influence. Jamal was referring to himself and the other accusers, Maurice Robinson, Anthony Flagg, and Spencer Legrand. They're in their 20s now, but were 17 and 18 when they had sexual relationships with Long, according to the lawsuit. Jamal Paris said, this was our father and we loved him. Jamal went on to say, that man, referring to Bishop Eddie, cannot look me in the eye now and tell me we did not live this pain that he's denying. And then he addressed a comment directly to Long. He said, you are not a man, you are a monster. It's pretty astonishing. In the black church, homosexuality is acknowledged as something that is there, but in not just the black church, but also in black culture, something that does exist, but we don't talk about it. See, we just don't talk about it. People who do that are on the down low. Be quiet. Don't say anything about it, because we have this image we have to maintain of manly, testosterone-loaded, aggressive. That's how white people have painted us for the past 350 years, so we have the image. But homosexuality in the black community is the same as it is in any community. I mean, nobody has an exclusive franchise on heterosexuality. They just don't. People are people. The problem arises when you get some predatory, sick individual, like, in this instance, Bishop Eddie, who uses his position, uses his power, uses his rhetorical devices to convince people. I don't care whether it's a Catholic priest molesting little boys and girls, or this freak who goes after young men under the guise of wanting to protect them, when all he wants to do is sleep with them. Well, sleep is a euphemism. Have sex with them. Rather than just declaring himself and saying, yeah, I am what I am. It sounds like what some Popeye would say. I am what I am. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. But to do this once again, a screaming, drooling, dribbling homophobe, someone who would condemn other people to a hideous life of shame, while at the same time he takes his pleasure where he can get it. That to me is disgusting.